I have like all of these emotions right now, and I want to get this video out because it debunks this whole community. And I am now considering putting a formal request of an apology to the royal family, to King Charles, for this censorship that they have conducted through this community against a Commonwealth citizen like myself. Now, Meghan Markle's Debacles has just put this, well, didn't just, she put this video out a day ago. I responded to it about 8 or 9 hours ago, and I said I'm not going to support your cover-up, because this video is a cover-up. Let me give you some context, just a bit. From September last year, I had ORMV smear me like crazy. Actually, not September. Well, not September. September? No, October. October last year. So I apologise. October last year. And in September, I did a live with her and Don. And it was after the Paula M psyop. And this Australian account in late January tagged me, stating that ORMV had defamed her, and in doing so defamed me. Now, I had my run-ins with ORMV, who seemed to be acting as a moderator for the Royal Grift, with Duchess of Sussex, who was a self-professed CIA or OSS agent, which is a federal crime against the law. So she definitely isn't, but she was claiming that. She claimed that more than once, and more times than to myself. ORMV had harassed me prior in January in defense of the Royal Grift, because she was there to really just come after anyone who disagreed with the Royal Grift or her content. Now, I didn't know anything further than that. I just shrugged her off, because I just thought she was insignificant and pathetic, because she is. But that's all I took from it. I didn't want to continue with the drama. But when this account, Meghan Markle's Debacles, included me in this defamation and invited me to a live video, it introduced me to looking into what ORMV had spoken about me. And it was this whole character creation of who I was. And it was aligned, as I've said in my recent videos, it was aligned with the Royal Grift's political agenda of this military-grade censorship complex. And that there was going to be an investigation of the Sussex squad and all the bots, and they're going to be exposed, and anyone threatening democracy. And both the Royal Grift and ORMV had said that I was a paid spy or instructed by someone or something within this censorship complex. And it seemed as though they were building towards that. And I needed to nip that in the bud, because every time I see that, I know that there's a psyop happening, that there's something happening, and I need to address it before, so it blows up in their face, so it doesn't gain momentum, and it doesn't get to where it was in September with the Paula M psyop. They wanted to rid me then, and it didn't work, and they've continued to try. So I looked into what they had been saying. It was really, really horrific. And that was when I asked ORMV to stop, because this is under Australian law, defamation. And if she pursues it, that I will be looking into charging her. And she continued, and she did so horrifically. And then she had other accounts like Megan's Mole, and all these, I would say, made-up accounts. Made-up accounts say some very horrible things about me. And it was so bad that when I went back to look at what happened in September, I could see some connections with these accounts to ORMV, stating that I had actually been the one orchestrating the PSYOP, the Paula M attack of this Steph the Ultra Nerd and Steph the Ultra Nerd and Ultra Nerd, whatever the hell her name is, and the other one, Sue Smith, Sue, and I had done it with Lady C, because then ORMV went with that in by 2025 and said I was paid, and that was what I do. So it became very big, very, very big, after this account included me and wanted to do a live. I felt I didn't know who she was. She was Australian. I thought she was a New Zealander, but she's Australian. And I thought that she was a genuine account that was just upset at this defamation. She seemed genuine, very Aussie. So I just thought, okay, she's being direct. That's really cool. Like, I support it, but I don't know what the background is with her or what's happened to her and all this stuff. And I think it was the following day. Sorry, Hastings is really having a snore. I think it was the following day, this email came out of Fiona and ORMV. Fiona is an avid gardener. And I thought the whole email was very, very strange, because it's illegal to just showcase an email with identifiers if you haven't got permission. Let's see if I'm charging. No, I'm not charging, which is great. I've got hardly any percent. Okay. So I found that very odd. I took a step back and I didn't involve myself, because this account seemed to be friends or something with Tom Jr. and Fiona. And I had not ever dealt with Fiona directly. I had heard about her because when I first started, I had an account by the name of Russ, Absolutely Average, befriend me, and we became fast but very, just across the pond. You can't say that with America, well, Australia and UK, can you? But we became friends and buddies, and we were supporting each other and supporting the growth of our YouTubes. I was very new to this, and any support was wonderful, and he seemed a very, very lovely person. We shared some background, and I knew that he was a veteran. I knew that he had suffered a great deal from trauma and mental illness, and his whole YouTube is based around that. Is based around the veteran community. And of course, I heavily respected him for that. That takes a strength in character. And I knew Avid Garner through him because she was harassing him for a very long time with her husband and with Trevor Colt in a very odd way. Uncomfortable. It made me uncomfortable to watch. They were saying that he was, and they had proof of that he was the Arcadia of Atlantia account, and I didn't know much about this account. I had to research it, and I found out that this account is it attacks people, it stalks people, and it says some very, very nasty things about people. It finds out about their family, it makes threats. I think that was that one, or there's an attached associated one as well, something with slime. And they were saying that these accounts were run by, well, Arcadia or Atlantia was run by Russ. And I didn't know. I knew Russ was genuine, but I didn't know how to approach it. And when Gertie Rude also, I just didn't involve myself with Fiona, because that video I saw where they were doing a live and Russ had asked for an apology now that they know that he's not the Arcadia of Atlantia or whatever the hell that account is. She was awful, and I just made an opinion that she was not a nice person. And when Gertie Rude, who has a parody account, and I laugh at a lot of her stuff, I think it's funny. I don't know, I'm not laughing at the person she's imitating or impersonating, I'm laughing at her humor and her jokes. I found out that she was impersonating Russ as well, and she also believed that he was Atlantia of Arcadia or Arcadia of Atlanta account, because she was in full support with Fiona. And I'm just really angry. Gertie Rude had done a video about this slime account connected to Arcadia, doing a post about her son. And I was very emotional and protective about it. I directly messaged Russ because she blamed Russ for this. And he was deeply offended that I had questioned him. Now I can say rightly so. He tried to convince me it wasn't him. And I said to Gertie that I am friends with Russ. I can't remember exactly what I said, but I'm friends with Russ. How are you aware? I'm not sure. And she said, he isn't who you think he is, especially around with women. And when I pressed her on asking for evidence, because there was no evidence of what she was claiming, she told me that there was a legal case against him, that the police know about it, and that I don't have to worry about it. And I left it to the point where this was some political bullshit that I have just stepped into that I don't want to be a part of. She also questioned my intent, in a sense, for attacking a victim or questioning a victim, shall we say. She said there's a legal case, it was ongoing, and not to worry about it because all the evidence is there. And I have spoken to Russ since, and he has spoken to me that he's been trying to get a defamation case against these, I don't know who exactly, but a defamation case. I know that he's reported Gertie Rude for abusing or attacking him and harassing him. Now, I'm beyond this bullshit, okay? But Russ, to me, seemed like a genuine person, a lovely person who has his own demons and is a veteran that we should, if he is a good person with good character, we should he definitely deserves our respect. Now this video here at the end says that Meghan Markle's debacles, who is protecting Fiona directly and is in contact with Fiona, says that our recollections may vary, is both Arcadia of Atlantia and Arcadia of Atlanta, whatever the fuck that stupid account is, that ORMV in America is that account, and she's also the Sarah Data account, which is a Sussex squad account, the key Sussex squad account. She's saying she has verifiable, undeniable proof that is there. While Russ has been attacked so aggressively that he has removed himself many times from being online. Now he is a complete victim. Russ, I'm going to add your handle to this. I hope you feel that this has been clarified. I hope this helps with your case, because this is not on. This is terrible what has taken place. The abuse that he copped when Russ is going through his own things and just trying to be genuine, it's not good enough. It's not good enough. And then to protect accounts like Trevor Colt, who I know he lies. I know he has some sort of position that is backed by the Crown or whoever it may be. I don't believe for 1 minute that Trevor Colt is genuine. And you've got everyone protecting that account like he's some sort of hero. And Trevor Colt has been a part of this harassment and targeting of another veteran who is now innocent. I don't care if what Meghan Markle's debacles is saying is true. What is my understanding and what she's claiming is that Fiona knows that this is untrue. Gertie Rude knows that this is untrue because she's commented under this video. And yet there hasn't been a formal apology. I request that these two accounts write and publish an official formal apology to Russ, to average, to absolutely average. That is terrible, terrible, terrible conduct. I want to start there. I have to get over the anger with that because I have questioned Russ and it's just simply been something that's helped them gain some credibility, some drama, some content, and they've used an innocent man for exploitation. They've exploited this man, and they made, and not just that, but they tried with all of their might to stop people and accounts supporting him, like myself. That's just unforgivable. But I do ask that you put through formal apologies. Now, I wasn't going to do a video about this video because it was stupid. It was definitely a cover-up. With this, and now it confirms that this was a psyop, this whole invitation that Meghan Markle's debacles had in January for me to go on to a live. I thought it was to shoot myself in the foot by having Tom Jr. involved. She didn't name and specify who was going to be on the live when I asked her. I felt like that was a red flag. Then that email came out and that was another red flag, and I just was very skeptical. I kept in contact, but I just wanted to be sure that I wasn't going to target myself. And then that would confirm everything that ORMV and that the royal grift is currently saying, or simply that it will just add on and fuel drama, and there will be a discrediting of myself and my channel and my work. And I just didn't want that at all. So I stayed away because it felt like the Paula M PSYOP 2.0. This video comes out a day ago, and it explains, I'm trying to remember exactly what the storyline is. It's just so fucking stupid. So, Meghan Markle's debacles says that she has all the proof that, well, maybe we can start there. Our recollections may vary is a Sussex squad account called Sarah Data and Arcadia of Atlanta, or Atlanta of Arcadia, whatever the hell that account is, right? And a number of accounts. And she's there to create the division of this whole community because she's a Sussex squad account. I need to make that very clear because this is what will expose this entire community as a fraud. So, with that, she hid her true identity, supposedly. And, believe me, I'm not in support for ORMV. She's a vile person and someone that I'm completely disgusted by. But this is just crap. So maybe that's true. I don't know that part, but this is where it gets interesting. In doing so, she's hidden her true identity. Now, Meghan Markle's debacles started her account in April 2024, and by September 2024, she was fully into this situation. Supposedly, that was when she was attacked by ORMV, and she contacted Fiona for the first time and gained a friendship, asking about how did she deal with threats or something like that. And the story goes that ORMV, actually, she doesn't say this. What she says is that Steffi Alternerd and Sue Smith were instructed to do that video. So they're completely innocent and have been victims, as well as Paula M, because Paula M, the royal grift, and Duchess of Sussex were on to Meghan Markle. They had it in the bag and they needed to be found out. They needed to be torn apart. This community needed to be torn apart because they're finding out who Meghan Markle really was, supposedly, which we know now is complete bullshit because the censorship complex is a complete fraud and fabrication and is a part of a greater political agenda and assignment by the royal grift. And those two accounts were actually in support on the 14th of September, 6 days after that PSYOP had occurred. Those accounts were in complete support of Paula M and her whole narrative, trying to add on to it to convince everyone that it was true. So that's not necessarily true whatsoever if Meghan Markle's debacles knew the context, and she also knew the accounts that she's been instructed to protect. Because let's face it, this isn't genuine. This video is not genuine whatsoever. Now, Paula M had already committed an illegal crime, trying to convince everyone. She impersonated a government official, and she also, in the email where she impersonated the government official, because I've got proof from the government that there was no such correspondence with Paula M. And that was coming out at that time, and that's why there's a PSYOP that occurred, and that what Meghan Markle is trying to hide. and to distract with and deflect with all this useless information. When that occurred, and in the email, it was an actual breach of law. What she was saying had that all the information that had been uncovered. So she committed 2 breaches. She had impersonated a government official, and then she had made the government official look like that they had breached the law. So at this point in the video, from the very beginning, Meghan Markle's debacles, or MMD, has stated that Paula M was onto something. She was highly credible, and that she was discovering or uncovering Meghan Markle. Now, at the end of the video, when MMD has outed, the big reveal has outed ORMV as Sarah Data and as that Arcadia account, she said she doesn't work for Meghan Markle, that it's not like that. So that's very odd as well, because well, why would you be a Sussex account if instigating all these things if you're not backed by Meghan Markle? So there seems to be a shift or a steer of this agenda as well. Mind you, I have evidence of Sarah Data. I didn't know who she was, but somebody actually said, hey, that's Sarah Data. Do you know who she is? When that Stacey Schroeder, had a trip in, I think it was 2019, the same day that Lilibet Diana, or a Lilibet website, was registered, before Meghan Markle had even left UK. She wasn't living there, but this is the story, right? Stacey Schroeder goes to London with her husband, or no, not her husband at that point, her boyfriend. And Sarah Data is communicating with her and saying only 2. I'm thinking this is something to do with her assignment. And Stacey Schroeder and Sarah Data are in communications. So whatever Stacey Schroeder is doing is directly related to the Crown, as is Sarah Data. So whoever Sarah Data is a part of this orchestration, this Crown orchestration. So she's not, even if she's Sussex Squad or whatever you want to say, or she isn't funded by Meghan Markle, she is a part of this orchestration. So that's a false narrative, what you've been given, right? And initially, when MMD had started this whole narrative of being attacked and defamed by ORMV, it was later whistled down myself and her, Tom Jr. and Fiona. There was no Duchess of Sussex, there was no The Royal Grift, and there was no Paula M. That was just absurd, because why would you include all of them? That's been an addition. So these accounts also are very, very protected. Steph the Ultra Nerd and Sue Smith, I haven't seen, I highly doubt they've lost much. They seem to be recovered, and on TMZ show presentations, and actually that was encouraged by the Royal Grift. I mean, it's a club that I'm just not invited into, and I'm sure that MMD would be very well aware of this. But here we are, Paula M's a victim, but also now Steph the Ultra Nerd and Sue Smith are victims as well, because there's someone behind the background, which is supposedly ORMV, who is, I don't know how, she doesn't make the actual allegation that ORMV was the one who initiated and orchestrated the attack video, which is just so surreal. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. There's no script either with what they're saying, so It's really just a Crown orchestration. It's an orchestration by courtiers or by MI6. And these are who they're being informed by, and this is what they did. Because if they've been instructed, which is what MMD said herself, then that's where they would be instructed, who they'd be instructed by. And it was to cause new rules and a political framework to censor dissent. And then after that, truth has been recreated for you. And truth tellers have been recreated for you as well. And anyone who actually says the truth, which is pretty much just myself, has been completely kicked out of this community and censored to the nines. So then I can't even, I'm not even no longer relevant. And even MMD really brought that home with this video. She included me in being bullied by ORMV, but I was almost like an afterthought. So this is the new agenda this new cover that's been created. So the Royal Grift supposedly was completely blindsided by ORMV, despite working with the government, despite working with an attorney that soon became employed by the Department of Justice, this account, and followed a Trump campaign and ensured that they were saying that they were working, that TRG, that account, and Elon Musk were working together or fighting for the same cause. And this attorney account was supposedly working with Elon Musk as well, and his attorneys and his engineers. This is how nuts it gets. So you've got that. You've got the fact that she starts with Duchess of Sussex talking about the way ORMV got herself into the community was by influencing Don and befriending Don. And because Don knew everyone and was the only connection to TRG, despite what I've just told you, that TRG is connected with many accounts, talks to many accounts, and pretends to be a sole researcher and acts alone. And we don't know who she is either. She is solely connected to Don only. And to get to TRG, ORMV went through Don, right? Don is a self-proclaimed CIA OSS agent. So that, if you want to act like that, and if you want to say that, despite also being a victim of the military censorship complex that was a part of a CIA operation, which makes no sense at all, which just means you're completely delusional, that would mean that a CIA or OSS agent didn't know, and also a TRG who has a connection to an attorney and the government, they don't know that ORMV is a Sussex Squad account. Now here's the kicker. Here's the really big kicker. Because what MMD says is that after the Paula M psyop, ORMV tried to exploit it by creating an account and mimicking Steffi Alternerd's voice. I have a hard time understanding that or believing that because of ORMV's strong American accent and trying to imitate and people being convinced of her British accent. That's a bit too far-fetched for me. But this was, she said by October 2024. She never goes into detail about when TRG or Don ever found out about being blindsided and Fiona and with who ORMV really was, right? She never knew. No one ever knew. And yet somehow this is all fallen in the lap of MMD. And the thing with that is, by late September, if MMD had actually done her research and not just followed instruction by whoever she's being informed and instructed by, she would come to understand that this judge who is now, this attorney that is now supposedly employed by the Department of Justice and also still MI6 and Crown informed or courtier informed, because she learnt the constitutional law under the Queen. She had stated by late September, early October, that the royal grift and her had been involved in an FBI investigation with the Sussex squad, and that was their whole purpose for joining forces and fighting crime and fighting an investigation against the Sussex squad with Elon Musk and Trump, and that Trump will soon investigate all these bots, or is investigating all these bots and the Sussex squad. Depends on who you believe and what timeline they say. But by late September, early October, there has been an actual court case where they have given testimony and evidence. I'm guessing that TRG has. This is what this account says. And she's been through hell. And that she's also been through or been interviewed in this FBI investigation. She also confirms in a separate post that there is an ongoing, or that there is an FBI investigation going on against the Sussex squad and against this abuse against, I think it was somebody had pretended to be a judge or something. I'm not sure. But the royal grift at that point would be very well aware of who Sarah Data is and who the Sussex squad is, because there was an FBI investigation and it was continuing on. So to say, because the royal grift and our recollections may vary, have been in full support of each other and helping, egging each other on to defame others, which is another aspect of this, that the royal grift is also a perpetrator, and yet MMD is claiming that she's a victim. The same with Don. They're all perpetrators, and yet MMD, under the fake guise of justice and defamation and a legal pursuit, she's claiming the illegality of what Paula M did, what Don has done, what TRG has done, and what OMV has done. Well, not ORMV, but TRG, Paula M, and Don, they're all victims. So this is a great cover. But the fact that she had already been through an FBI investigation and would know very well who the Sussex squad were, and is now in the pursuit of having it officially looked into, well, it's already been looked into by the FBI, so then pretending like it needs to be looked into by Trump and so forth. I mean, it depends on what you hear. But the first thing is, there's already an FBI investigation, and it's already been done during the Biden campaign, by the way. So that's already been done. So there would be no blindsiding. So then what MMD is actually claiming is that really, and she's not realizing because she's been instructed or informed to tell you this bullshit, what she's actually saying is, because now we know that TRG would be very aware of who she was, especially with her attorney friend and Elon Musk supporting them and vice versa, that TRG was working with Sarah Data and Arcadia of Atlanta. And she was actually directly working with this supposed Sussex squad account. And we don't know when but she soon realised and turned around and realised she was blindsided. The same with Don. I just don't know when. There's no proof of anything. This is all just absolute shit. But there's supposedly undeniable proof that they just found out. So we have Sarah Data working with, under the guise of ORMV or vice versa, working with TRG and Don, and a CIA agent or OSS agent and a government affiliate doesn't know that these are the same people that they would be aware of are currently being investigated, because they were a part of that investigation by late September, early October 2024, as to what this other attorney account that now works for the Department of Justice has said. And they are fully backed by each other. And whenever this attorney has, anyone has asked for proof of anything of her fight for justice with the Sussex squad, she has used the Royal Griff's censorship complex. So now I am considering a formal request. I am considering some sort of action to take, because this is just so insane at this point. The lies are too much. We have already an outing of the whole censorship complex agenda. I'm guessing MMD hasn't watched my videos. I will add her to this handle. She hasn't seen the undeniable, verifiable evidence that this has been a whole political agenda and a Crown agenda. And so that's already been outed, and yet she's trying to she hasn't disclosed that in this video or in this whole narrative that she's trying to play out. And I'm now implicated in somebody else's fraudulent misrepresentation. Actually, in all of these accounts, fraudulent misrepresentations. Which infuriates me, and something has to be done. So I'm going to tag the accounts I've mentioned because I expect transparency. But you should know this. You should know just how bad this whole facade is and how much is crumbling, and that nothing makes sense anymore, and that these people are absolute cons, and they're there to con you. They're there to deceive you and to lie to you. And they're there to, in any way they can, credit and protect these government-affiliated accounts because they're government-affiliated or Crown-affiliated. And to try to blur the lines with any account, while the only account that I consider now as myself to exclude me from what actually happened. It's a retelling of my own story, really, and steering it to look at these accounts as complete victims, which now you can see that they're most definitely not. They have all agreed and supported all of these narratives. They have then supported each other's accounts and the narratives that continued. They have then conducted defamation and fraudulent misrepresentation. A lot of them have committed their own separate crimes. And now we're here. So I think that needs to be stated, and I apologise to Russ for what he went through. I apologise for any part I played in it, but I'm trying to right a wrong of anything that I ever did that may have been hurtful to him, and I sincerely apologise for my part, whatever part I did play in that. I don't feel good about it. I can definitely say that. But I was going to, as I said, not respond to this video because I didn't see it as something that was dangerous or weaponized. But now I see it, and I'm quite sick and tired of people using my name and implicating me in psyops since Paula M, which has been the intention the whole time. And then they try to redirect it to make it not look like I have anything to do with it. I'm just usually briefly mentioned as a villain, as a victim, but it's never anything significant, because it's a whole distraction and deflection. And yet I bear the brunt of it all, and I'm sick and tired of it. Please don't mention my name again, my channel name. Please don't. I don't expect apologies from you, from any of you. You're just cowards, and you deceive people for a living, and you get paid to do it. That's pretty despicable. And now you've been outed. And I didn't need all that fluff and all that bullshit to tell you that. I'll tell you to your face if I have to. Well, this is my only way of telling you to your face. Anyway. Thanks, guys. Enjoy the video. You can look it up yourself and see for yourself. And see what... and see the crap that they're trying to pull. It's pretty amazing. Thank you.